All right, in this demonstration, we'll see how to use the sum and average functions. And while I would say that these ones are the most commonly used, their usage itself is not any different than the other aggregate functions. In fact, the syntax examples that I have here are virtually identical to the min and max. I've just changed the function. So in this case, I'm still looking for the customer ID as a collection. So I'm grouping by that and then just summing up the amount and averaging the amount. So our first example is sum amount as total payments, again, from the payment table, grouped by the customer ID. So I see a total of all payments per customer. So let's execute here, and there they are. One instance of each customer and the total payments they have made. This example is identical syntactically. Again, the only change is the average function in place of the sum function. And of course, the alias is average payment. Let's execute this one. And now we see the average payment for each customer. So again, identical usage to minimum and maximum. But sometimes you aren't necessarily concerned with totals per customer. Maybe you just want to see the complete total for all customers. So that's what I have here, total payments for all customers. So I'm simply selecting the sum of the amount as total payments for all from the same table. And this represents the complete total of every payment by every customer. You could do the same with the min and the max, but the average does the same thing here, just the overall average payment for all customers, all payments. Let's execute, and there we see it. So again, you can get those broader values, if you will, by not working on a specific column. Now, similarly, we can use the results of the function as a filter. So again, this is exactly what we saw in the minimum and max demonstration. I'm still just pulling out the sum of the amount as the total payment from the payment table, grouping by the customer ID, but then I'm using the result of the function as a filter. So let's just quickly go back and re-execute the first one where we just pulled up the sum per customer, and we can see that there are some values, of course, ranging from under 100 to over 100. So in my last example, I'm saying, well, only show me those that are greater than or equal to 100. So again, look at the number of records returned, 599, when we summed up all of them. Once we apply the halving clause and the filter expression, now we only see 395. So essentially, these are the higher amounts. Okay, so again, very commonly used functions, very useful information, particularly if you are wanting to generate reports or just do analysis of your finances, things along those lines, to see how well you're doing. But sum and average are very useful functions.